right, everybody. Good afternoon. You are very welcome to Pitch Stage 2 and to the 4th group round on this stage of Pitch this afternoon. Hands up who's seen Pitch before. Who knows what's coming up on this stage in the next while? 1, 2, 3. All right, that's awesome. Before I introduce this session, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Carolyn. I work for Bank of Ireland in Ireland, so I'm here looking for the very best upcoming fintech startups. I've got a bag of cash at the back of the stage if we see those. For those of you that don't know what Pitch is about, Pitch is an on-stage startup battle. It's the selection of Web Summit's top exhibiting startups. They've chosen a top elite group here this afternoon to pitch in front of our esteemed panel of judges and, of course, you, the wonderful audience. There are 8 startups in this group. They represent the various industries that are exhibiting across Web Summit over the next couple of days. Each startup has 3 minutes to pitch, and that's followed by 3 minutes of Q&A from our judges. So we'll keep the time really tight, guys. I'll be keeping an eye on the clock down here for you. Before we go any further, let me introduce our esteemed panel of judges. And judges, you might give us a little bit of a wave as I call your names out. So we've got Felix Kraus from Energy Ventures. We've got Andrew Russ from Amazon AWS. And we've got Ricky Techapaibel from Tech Wildcatters. So thanks a million, judges, for being here. All right, so our judges will be scoring the pitches on 5 broad areas. These are product, potential to disrupt, the financials, the team, and the quality of the pitch. There is a winner for this session, and that winner goes on to the semi-finals tomorrow. And the winner of the semi-finals obviously goes on to the final on Centre Stage on Thursday as well. So there's a lot at stake here. All right, is everybody ready to go? Is everybody ready to go? Yes, that's more like it. All right, I know it's only day 1, so we shouldn't be too tired. Judges, you good? All right, let's give a huge round of applause for our first pitcher. It's not easy to go first, so welcome Breffni from Habitus.
Thanks, Lillian. Cheers. Hi.
Just a second. It's one of these songs.
All right.
The point.
Thank you. Posture, posture, posture. I love presenting to a room full of people this size because I normally, when I mention the word posture, see a ripple effect across the crowd as everyone rectifies their posture. And it tells me 2 things. 1, inherently, everybody knows that good posture is really important. And 2, everybody needs to be reminded. So the effect of poor posture from a physical and mental perspective is far underestimated in the world. As people sit at their desks all day, it can reduce your ability to cognitively think. So as you sit at your desk all day and you hump over, your ability to pump oxygenated blood around your body is reduced by up to 30%. This decreases your cortisol level in your body and increases your fuzzy brain syndrome. From a physical perspective, it's the leading cause of disability in employees under the age of 45. It increases your chance of type 2 diabetes by up to 90%. And each hour you spend sitting with poor posture decreases your life expectancy by 22 minutes. People vastly underestimate the effects. I'm sure all of you here will attest to how much you sit all day. You get up in the morning, you sit in your car for your commute, you sit at your office all day, you sit with your colleagues for lunch, you sit in the afternoon, you commute home and you sit with your family for dinner. It's becoming a worldwide epidemic and it's vastly underestimated. From a physical and mental perspective, that is having a huge economic effect on corporations worldwide. So how much is it actually costing? From an indirect cost perspective, in the US, employers spend up to $100 billion a year on indirect costs, and that is medical bills for their employees and lost productivity due to absenteeism. From a direct perspective, $20 billion is spent in the US, and that has to do mostly with insurance costs. And on back pain alone, so literally nothing else but back pain alone, costs employers in the US $7 billion a year. We've created a product to rectify poor posture for employees globally. Habitus Posture has 3 aspects. It's got a smart wearable sensor, a mobile app, and a corporate dashboard. So it's really simple. It's as simple as putting on your watch in the morning. You get up out of bed, you stick on your smart sensor, you sync it to your mobile app, and you go. And during the day, your app syncs with the sensor and it records your data. So it's measurement of movement, The algorithms in the app determine your correct posture for you. So everybody here has a unique fingerprint. Everybody here has a unique posture. Our intelligent app determines your correct posture for you, and as you come out of it during the day, it subtly reminds you to return to correct posture. Eventually, your body will train itself to sit properly. From the corporate perspective, to reduce the employer's healthcare costs, it aggregates and anonymizes your employee data and trends the data over time. And that allows you to reduce your healthcare costs, to reduce your absenteeism, reduce your presenteeism, and overall increase your productivity. Thank you.
Can you spend a little time talking about just the business model? So are you selling the devices directly? Is there a subscription? Yeah.
Yeah. So we sell as a SaaS model. The employer buys a license fee, and the employee gets given the sensor and the mobile app. So it doesn't cost the employee anything. The employer pays a license fee per year, depending on the number of employees they have, obviously.
Have you looked at insurance providers as well? What are they going to pay, and then in exchange for a lower insurance cost?
Absolutely. So as the data is trended over time, employers go back to their insurance providers. A lot of insurance providers now are looking to employers to make sure that they're looking after the wellness of their workforce. And by being able to aggregate that data and trend it over time, they reduce their healthcare costs.
Maybe being European, are you GDPR compliant?
Absolutely. So that's all got to do with anonymizing the data. It's very important. The data is held in the cloud, and we comply with GDPR.
And one other question: you actually come up with a sensor that I'm given to wear. Like, if I take all the wearables that I need to wear to track my fitness, my arm is full. Can't you integrate with others like Apple Watch or something like that?
So we've had initial discussions with a number of tech providers on integrating it into the app or into their devices. But at the moment, the sensor is really quite small. It's very subtle under the skin. So it's really not a huge issue for wearing on a daily basis. On the skin.
Which markets or which employers you're trying to target first?
So we're very lucky in Ireland to have, it's probably got a lot to do with the corporate tax rate. We're very lucky to have a number of the major multinationals in Ireland based on our shores, and we've targeted them already and they're very interested. So we will use that to springboard to their other sites globally. The corporate wellness market is worth $48 billion, and it's growing exponentially at a rate of 4.8% per year. So it's a huge market for us. I should have mentioned that my own background is in software development, and I've already scaled 2 companies. My co-founder is a chartered physiotherapist with over 20 years experience, and he has a master's in sports science. So we have both the physical, anatomical background and also the business background within the company.
And maybe with existing customers, do you have any data currently that shows the impact of this sort of on their overall costs?
Sure. So at the moment, we're actually in pilot stage with 2 corporations. One of them is a major multinational with overseas clients, and the other is a local authority within Ireland. So we're trending that data, and we're about to produce a report.
Do you know which countries you need FDA approval or which countries you don't for a product like this?
Yeah, so my background is actually in regulatory compliance. Our product is non-invasive, so we don't need to be regulated from that perspective. Selling into the US, we don't need to be FDA compliant.
All right, thank you,
Thanks for your
judges.
time.
Great questions. Thank you, Breffni. All right, big round of applause. And next up, thank you, that's mine. Next up is Marc from Hay.
Thank you. So we all love the internet at the Web Summit. And whenever you browse over the internet, you always pop up with the same question. So what's the phone number of that restaurant that you usually check on Google? What do people think of that bike? Is it a good one? Is that code up to date? Or should I download that software or should I not? Well, how cool would it be if other visitors of the same website you're on could tell you their opinions straight away on the website you visit? That's basically what we're doing at Hay. We want to give power back to the people by allowing them to communicate on every single website of the web, directly on the website. So imagine now that you would like to buy a bike. on that same website, someone could tell you that the bike exists for half the price elsewhere, or that the battery doesn't last, or that it's not appropriate if you're a bit too heavy. If you're planning to invest in an ICO, someone could discuss the project of the ICO straight on the website instead of having to go outside the website on random forums lost over the internet. So the way we did it is through a browser extension that you can download in a click, and that adds up a little button on every page you visit. Clicking on that button, you get access to a community where people can share great tips, warnings, or any relevant information they might have in that specific context. We built it with all the features of a traditional social network, plus one very special one, which is the fact that when you create valuable content, you get paid for it. So a bit like on YouTube, when you create videos that have millions of views, you get money for it. Here, it's a bit similar. So imagine again, that person that helped me save money on my bike, I will like his comment, and at some point, those likes will transform into tokens. Our business model is based on advertising, but advertising that has the advantage to be hyper-contextual. This means that you could advertise for a car, a rental car, on the website of an hotel in Morocco, for example. It's all hyper-contextual. Our figures, the revenues we'll make out of it will highly depend on the adoption of our app and also its daily usage. But so far, we've built a great team with very talented engineers to make it happen. And the next step now, what we've done also, is to have a first beta version of that app that we're testing now with 200 users, have a first white paper to present the whole project, and raise a bit of cash to launch our next step. That next step being to launch an ICO in order to gather a first community of ambassadors around the project to make that community grow. So if you want to take part in the project, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or to Olivier, who's sitting right there at the end. Thank you very much.
How do you want to acquire users? How do you want to make this thing big? Because in my world, it wouldn't work if for any website I'm visiting, there's some chat happening. How do you overcome the problem of getting enough users?
Yes, so there is this chicken and the egg problem. So if we don't have users, we don't have content. If we don't have content, we don't have users. Big problem. And the ICO is a part of the answer, in the sense that we will start with a very specific community that sees an interest in that project. And they see it because first there is a match of values. If you look at people that invested in ICOs at the very stage, they were mostly libertarians or anarchists before speculators. So there is a match of values in the sense that they can spread information freely over the internet. And then there is also a need, because currently in those ICOs, 1 out of 5 is a scam. And to find out, you usually have to find for forums such as Bitcoin Talk or subreddits lost somewhere over the internet. Here we bring a direct use case for that specific community so that they can exchange and they can start using it straight away. And then from that community, we'll move to the ones that are the closest. So the usage patterns of that first community will tell us what the next step is, and we'll grow from one to another. So starting with crypto enthusiasts, moving to gaming, and step by step.
Hey, tell me more about the back end and the decentralization of this.
Yes, so the point is that our token, our way to redistribute revenues we make from advertising. So if you create valuable content, people like it, you earn those tokens. But because you created valuable content in the first place, because we had a community, we managed to sell ads. And to buy those ads, you have to buy those tokens. So in a sense, it's a closed loop where people that create content get rewarded by the revenues of those ads. So that's one of the points of doing that ICO. The second is crowdsourcing moderation. So we inspired from a video game to make so that the community would judge if a content at some point is a spam or not. So only the community will be able to remove content So it wouldn't be centralized in the sense that we wouldn't be able to remove whatever content we want. So that's another point of having that token system.
And so the platform's sort of based on peer-to-peer trust, right? You're trusting these people's comments.
Yes.
When you integrate or introduce advertising into that, have you thought through sort of how you maintain that balance of kind of
Yes.
customer trust, if you will?
Yes, it's sponsored content. So just like on Facebook, where you have sponsored written on some ads, here you will also have that. So that's a way to really distinguish the two. And it also has the advantage to be hyper-contextual. And so it's not ugly banners that will just ruin your experience. It's content that might be valuable to you as a user. So, yeah.
What are the early challenges that you foresee so far?
Early challenges will be to gather a first community of users to make the ICO happen. So we just released the beta version. We're currently testing it with that first small community, and now we need to make it grow in order to get to that first success.
Or how many users that you feel is the tipping point when it starts to grow on its own?
It's hard to tell. I would say at least 100,000 to make it really enjoyable. The basic principle beneath comments is that 90% of the population just reads comments, 99% of the population actually engage, and just 1% produces content. So we need to have a huge base in order to make it grow in a first step.
All right, judges and Marc, thank you very much. We're going to have to leave it there. Great questions, judges. Thank you. Remember, all of the pitchers are here to the side of the stage, so after they've pitched, maybe not before because you don't want to make them nervous, feel free to pop over and ask them questions. They all have to wait around to find out the winner, so if you do want to chat to them, pop over to the side of the stage here. All right, we'll keep going because we're actually doing pretty good for time, and next up is Alan from Yanu.
Hello, everybody. Alan from Yanu, and I'm going to tell you how we are, can you turn it up a bit? How we are going to create a revolution in bartending business. It's an old business, I know. Everybody of you have been in a bar, in a very busy bar, right? Or in a nightclub, standing in a line, thirsty like a dog, wanting to get your drink. Don't you just hate it? I totally hate it because I hate waiting. And you know what's even worse? When you are the bar owner, because then there's not you standing on the line, but there's euros and dollars standing in the line, and much worse, even walking out the door, right? So I have been in the business of bartending and nightclubs for like 15 years, and believe me, I have seen like hundreds of thousands of euros walking out the door, or millions that you haven't had yet. So this is how I came to inventing a fully autonomous robot bartender, and it has a soul that is powered by the AI. So the advantages of the machine are it is super fast. It's like 4 bartenders at the same time. You don't have to pay a salary to them. It's fully autonomous, so it works at least 24 hours in one load. There is no loss, so it doesn't make any errors or steal, what's even worse. It's fully monitorable over the internet and backend. It's very easy to pay. You can get your payments done over the smartphone app that you use it with. And as you said, it's communicating, because some people ask that, well, I want to talk to a bartender. This one does talk to you. You might ask why the machine is not on the stage. Why isn't it making drinks here? It's very close. We're going to have the prototype for the Christmas time. Commercial version we're going to present in May in Geneva, United Nations Technology Conference that we were invited to. And the goal is to have 10 machines up and running for the end of next year. So the market of us is virtually actually every busy bar in the world. It can be nightclubs, like I said, sports venues that have been already approaching us, festivals, airports, that is our main market right now, any tourism spot, cruise ship, wherever there's a lot of people, transportation hubs, for instance. So the business model is very simple. It's twofold. First, we produce the machines, we sell them or lease, however would you like. We maintain the machines, but the main is that we plan to operate our own machines. We want to set up the bars all over the world. There are some premium spots already agreed, and we are going to operate them by themselves, because the big money lies in alcohol, right? And yeah, 1/3 of world's alcohol, by the way, is being drank here in Europe, so we're spot in the right place. We're looking for investors right now, and here is a short video of the machine. So thank you, and I'll have your questions.
Could you tell us something about the team? You said something about yourself, but like, who else is involved?
Yes, the team is actually consisting of a university professor who is running the robotics show. So there's like 10 people from the university. Then me and my partner, we have been running nightclubs before. My background is in entertainment and communications, and my partner is more in finances. And that's right now a team of 20 people that is involved.
What's the unit cost for the first 10, and what's the unit cost, let's say, when you do 5,000 units?
The first units we're going to sell for 150,000. That's the initial price. Of course, we are very up and willing to do some concession deals. That, for instance, airports, they run only on concession. So if we set up the machines, they take their 20% cut, and yeah, we share the revenue. But then forward, I see the price drop at least 1/3.
So you answered this question a little bit there, but are there specific physical spaces that make more sense for this? Not all bars are standardized or the same?
Yes, first we aim the most busy spots. For instance, airport is the premium spot because of the marketing value, because of the high prices, because of the 24 cycle and the high wages of the people. So airports are our first target.
What about the liquor license or the regulatory licenses? How do you get around that?
Yes, it's a regular bar license actually, and when you ask that, then there's another problem actually, the age verification that comes also, and we have a solution for that. Like one of the previous speakers said, that there's a possibility to do it over credit card or the ID, like in Uber, for instance. You pre-check it.
Going back to the unit economics, like how many drinks do you need to have sold for the machine to be break even?
Yeah. Okay, so if you sell 100 drinks a day, that is like really nothing in a bar, then it takes 4 months to break even. So it's quite good.
And what about logistical operation of the machine? So for like liquor distributors and things like that, is the current units they provide applicable to this?
Exactly. That's a very good question, actually, because we've been approached by 2 of the biggest producers in the world to cooperate with, to market with them. And for instance, in airports, it's really easy to do because they have the shops and possibilities to serve there.
How about maintenance? How many times a day do you need to refill and all things like that?
Depending on the venue, in a super busy place, let's say once in 24 hours, or if it's a nightclub, then 1 night cycle. If it's not so busy, then it can go for a week because it has 1,240 glasses inside stocked, and it can make 1,500 drinks. And you can select as an owner which drinks. You can have a gin bar, for instance, 50 different gins or 45, how much you like, or it can make, different ones. It's up to you, but it can go a lot.
And you use standard bottles, or
exactly,
and it refills automatically. Like when the bottle is empty, it just does everything automatically.
No, you have to refill the bottles or change the bottles. It takes like 5 seconds or something. And there's a big cooling machine that provides you soft drinks or juice, and yeah, you can actually decide. There's a coffee machine inside, and you as a bar owner can decide what it gives out.
And that's maintenance free. More or less.
The only maintenance that you have to do is load, reload, refill.
No cleaning.
Yeah, cleaning too. Yes.
All right, guys, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Alan. Great job.
Nice dress.
Yeah, I was just about to compliment you on your blazer. You can see we're a fan of patterns here on Pitch Stage 2. All good. Great questions from the judges again. These guys are making me nervous, just side stage. You really want to know your stuff if you're coming up to pitch. All right, we're on number 4 of 8, and next up is Gabriel. Big round of applause for Gabriel.
Yeah. It's working? Yes. So, hello everybody. As you might know, 100% today of the company wants to use AI, so artificial intelligence, into production to solve classic problems like, I don't know, maybe churn, or maybe to analyze the consumption of energy into your company. But today it's really hard for the company to solve those small problems. It takes a lot of time, it costs a lot, because you need to engage profile like data scientists, data analysts, so it's a lot of money spent. This is why we have been building Prevision.io. So Prevision.io is an automated machine learning platform that enables a new kind of profile that we will call a data citizen. It's someone between, it can be a data scientist who knows how to code and how to use algorithms, but it can also be someone into the business. It can be a business analyst, it can be a data analyst, someone who likes to play with the data. The idea is really simple. You take historical data from your company. You can add external data, like maybe the weather or the day off. And then the machine will build itself the algorithm for you. This is why a data citizen profile can use it. It's really simple. It takes only 3 clicks to build the model. And then the deployment is really easy. In 1 click, you can deploy the model into what we will call a marketplace. And the marketplace is the exact place where you can consume the model you have been building. But also, you can deploy the model as you want. If you want to add the model into your software that you are using on a daily basis to do your predictive maintenance or to have knowledge about your customer, you can do it as well. It's really easy. So I give you just a small example. We have been working for urban mobility case. It's really easy. We just predict the influence and about the bus traffic, and then the user just receive an SMS saying, hey, take this bus instead of this one. It's less crowded and you will have a seat. That's it. So today, again, we are 18. We have about 20 customers, and we are available on SaaS or on-premise. And actually, I think that's it. So as it is a software, the business model is easy. It's a monthly basis. You just buy the license for a month or year, as you want. And today, yeah, we are working with all type of different industry, with the bank, with retail, mobility, energy, and on different cases. It's really, really large. Thank you.
So can you talk a little bit just more about the financial model, though, on the SaaS and the on-prem, and then also on just, you mentioned the marketplace around data. So is there an economic benefit to you, or okay?
So the business model is really simple. As it is a software, you just pay for the subscription. So it's 4,000 on cloud per month and 6,000 on-premise per month. That's it. And for the marketplace, if it's your own marketplace, you don't pay. But if you are maybe a consulting company and you want to build a model for one of your customers, you just build the model in 1 day, and then you deploy on marketplace, and the economic model here is you click and pay.
Who are your competitors, and what's your advantage over them?
So the competitors that we have in the market, it can be large company like Google, like Amazon again, like Microsoft as well. But it's also startups like Data Robots and H2O. Those solutions are made for people who knows the algorithm and to knows how to code and to knows after that how to deploy a model. So it's a tool that will maybe have more features, indeed, but the fact is that it's complicated to use those type of solution today. And our benefits and advantage is really the ease of deploy, the ease of use of the solution, and the opening of the solution to a new type of profile, again, that we call the data citizen, which is not only a data scientist, but a little bit different.
You said a bank is also using your technology. Could you maybe describe
Yes.
like how they're using it?
Yeah, we have been working for the recovery loan to give a score to know if someone which will be in a recovery loan will pay back yes or no. So we have a score, and the algorithm is able to advise the guy who is behind this to say, okay, the score is this one because this feature equals this one, this one, this one. And then the agent take a decision to propose a solution to the end customer.
But to do so, don't you need like vast amount of data? I mean, you need to train your AI with something.
Of course, but we train the AI with historical data of the customer. But again, it's the customer who is building his model. So he knows which amount of data he can have. And we also help the customer to understand So we have like a metric, and the metric is made to understand it. So the model you have been building is stable, is good, is bad. We advise directly into the machine.
How complicated is the onboarding process? Because you need to load all the data, which might not be in a format that's easily usable.
Yeah. So the good thing with the solution is that you can collaborate directly into Prevision.io. So you can ask to maybe a specialist. It can be a data scientist from your own company. It can be a data scientist from one of your partners, or it can be also Prevision.io. And the idea is to ask questions directly to say, hey, okay, I have this type of data. Do you think it's good or not? Or I have maybe 2 or 3 or 10 different files. I want to create a unique file. How do I do? So you can collaborate directly into the platform. And in the platform, the data scientist, which is specialized, will be able to do all the jointer of the file and everything.
So my big takeaway is that you're sort of democratizing the ability of maybe not as skilled of a data scientist type worker to use this. Is there anything in the product that allows somebody with a high degree of skills in this area to be more powerful?
Yes. Inside the solution, you have a notebook where you can directly train and train the model. So you can code directly. You can play with the algorithms. So you can do it. But this is specific into the notebook section. Okay. And what you can also do is to plan what you want to do. You can plan the modelization. Every month, I want this model to be retrained because as it's in production, I want like to learn about what I did. So you can do it. We have a scheduler, and you can retrain the model directly inside the solution as well. So solution really easy to use for data citizen. And if you are a specialist, a data scientist, really a good one, you can also use it and help into the company. But what we saw in the market is that 90% of the project we have done, the company were trying to solve that since maybe 1 year. So what we advise to the company is to put the best data scientists they have into complicated project to analyze maybe video, or maybe a picture, or okay, and to do the small problems directly with a solution. You save a massive amount of time.
Gabriel, I don't want to do a Kanye West on you, but I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to shoot you off the stage. Thank you. Great fashion sense as well. We've got a nice thing going on here. All right, great page, Gabriel. Thank you very much. Next up, we'll keep moving on quite quickly. So we've 4 down, 4 to go. We're halfway through. Judges, you feeling okay? You need a Red Bull or anything? You're doing good. All right, audience, you doing okay? All right, okay, next up. Where's my picture? Oh, Helder from I'm a Park. Big round of applause. Okay.
Hello. I want to present I'm a Park system. This solution for parking, outdoor parking system, was developed by 3 companies. We need to join forces with 3 different companies because we have a road safety solution, we have a telecommunication solution, and also hardware for electronics side. So what is the problem that we want to solve is the traffic and the wasted time that we lose when we are trying to find a free parking spot on our cities. We spend a lot of money and time with that. So we developed the intelligent management parking system for on-street parking spots. Our solution is very simple to understand because in 4 steps you can find, you can reserve, you can pay, and you park. With this, you have your most easy solution to park your car on the city centers. For that, we have a back-office software, customers, mobile app, and electronics hardware to implement. How it works? It works very simple. You have the road stud lights on the ground as long as the sensors with NB-IoT technology that sends that information through the network provider for a cloud web services that will update in real time all the information for the customers that are the drivers and for the park manager. So everyone is always updated in real time. The hardware goes from road stud lights to sensors, passing by the gateways until to the parking barriers that is special useful when you reserve a parking spot before you go to the city centers. With this device, you prevent that anyone will park on your parking spot. On the side of the software, you have the mobile app with all the features integrated in one single app, as long as the administrator back office. What is new in our system, and that can be found in any other solution, is three things. We have a reserved parking spot possibility, we have the road studs for guide you until you're parking on the streets, and we have an integrated payment system. With this, we'll make more easier park, and we'll have all the real-time information that is relevant for the drivers and for the park managers. The market that we are facing is very huge. At this moment, for your information, the revenue for parking is around 7.4 billion euros on this industry. Of course, a huge market like this have always competition, but what is different from our competition in our system is that we have everything integrated in our solution. Let's talk about money and how to make money with our solution. So you have three different ways. You have an initial investment in hardware and setup. You have an annual fee that you pay per each parking spot. And you have also a fee per each payment transaction. This is how our system will work. Our goal for the next 5 years is to install 200,000 parking spots that will leave us with a revenue of 46 million euros. That is split between 30 millions in hardware and 16 millions between the fees that are applied to our system. This is a unique system, and for that we already have several awards and several recognitions on the media coverage international. Thank you.
There are like so many parking startups, it's like a big thing.
Yeah.
And I haven't really seen any on-street parking to be successful. First, why is it going to be you? And second, do you have any cities or communities that are using your system full scale so far? Because I presume that this is like just the tender you need to go through and convince a city to go full scale or even a street with you. That's going to take years. And then last one, you said 60 million in profit or revenue?
Profit.
Wow.
The feedback from the cities is very, very huge. Right now in Portugal, we have already 3 cities interested in this technology because this is most focused on the smart cities concept. And with our technology, you have the real-time information. Before you go to a city center, you can open your mobile app and you have that information, and the possibility that you reserve a parking spot in advance before you go to the city center is a huge advantage for any driver. You don't want to go to the city and don't know if you will find a park or not. Our solution allows that, okay? Of course that it's new, and when it's new, you have always a learning process for everyone. But we have all the feedback from the market at this moment that the project is a good project, and we have already, like I said, several cities interested with pilots for installing our project.
Nothing has been installed.
So far,
it's
no.
only discussions and nothing has been installed.
We have almost the project in Faro, that it's the city on the south of Portugal. We have in Águeda, interested in 200 places, for example, and we have in Cascais, another city that is connected to the smart cities concept. Okay, this is mostly related to the smart cities because of the technology that is used, that it's the NB-IoT technology, and at this moment it's also something new in Portugal, at least. The network coverage, it's not really implemented in all country, and this is why we need to go step by step. Even in international countries that we have our network of distributors, a lot of our distributors want to start to test pilots, okay? The solution is ready, the hardware is developed, the mobile application is developed, everything is ready to start with pilots. At this moment, they are running in private facilities, in parkings from companies that are also testing the technology.
What are your challenges that you're afraid of? And what's the initial budget that each city will need to even start a pilot?
Can I just say, Helder,
challenge
you've
here-
got 10 seconds left, so talk quickly.
Okay. The most challenge here is to get the cities involved on the smart cities concept and acquire this new technology for their cities, okay?
All right, great job, Helder. Thank you very
Thank
much. Give me a beer. Okay, next up to the stage, we welcome Adriana from CleenUp. Big round of applause for Adriana.
Does it work? Yeah. Hi, my name is Adriana, and I want to tell you how we at CleenUp are currently disrupting a very traditional, very classical, and quite boring industry, the car washing industry. Let me tell you this by telling you a little story. This is Toby. He works for a car sharing company. Toby thinks a lot about dirty cars and damaged cars. Not good for his business because he can't rent them out to customers. This is Toby's boss. He is very concerned with making money. He gives Toby a lot of trouble. So Toby decides to go out for lunch. And while he's out at lunch, he meets Andy. Andy is a cleaner who works at CleenUp. They start talking, and Andy tells a little bit about CleenUp. What does CleenUp do? CleenUp provides an on-street car cleaning and car servicing platform, which means that right where the cars are parked, they can be cleaned from the inside, from the outside. We are using a completely biodegradable cleanser that requires no added water, so there is no environmental damage and no using of clean drinking water. The service can be done anywhere because there is no residue on the floor, so it's regulatory allowed. And Andy does an outside cleaning of the car and also a full inside disinfection of the car. Toby is very excited about this idea and goes and tells his boss Hans. Hans also gets very excited because they realize this is perfect for their business. They will have less fleet amortization as their cars do not to be moved to car washing places. There will be less damaged cars. They will have more revenue because the cars will be blocked less. The cleaning will take a lot less time and customers can use their cars. And they recognize the big difference that a hand cleaning of a car makes as opposed to a car washing. Toby is very happy because now he saved his job and he's also contributing to saving the planet. Let me tell you a little bit about CleenUp. In 2018, we have cleaned over 10,000 cars. By this, we have saved 511,000 liters of drinking water. Since we do not need to move cars, we have saved 3 tons of CO2 emissions. We also have been selected under the top 30 clean tech companies by the European Union. We're also very proud of servicing the Drive Now and the Green Glow fleets at the moment. We are also very proud, we have 12 full-time employees, and we're very proud of getting jobs for unskilled labor. In 2019, with our current partners, we're planning on cleaning 63,000 vehicles and making a revenue of 2.7 million euro. We are very passionate, all 5 of us in the founding team, 2 of them are sitting there. We are very passionate about the environment, and we do want to take an active part in saving water, in reducing CO2 emissions, in reducing wastage to our sewage system. In 2018, we ourselves have hand-washed 525 of these cars. And let me introduce one more person to you who plays a vital role in our team. This is Andy, who you've just met in the presentation. Every day he cleans cars on the streets of Berlin, and he looks forward to cleaning your car next.
So one of the really compelling things here is sort of the biodegradable, the environmental aspect. So the cleaning solutions you use and the process you use, is that something you've developed those products on your own, or is there any competitive advantage to that?
Not on the outside cleaning at the moment. That is a readily available product. It's based on nanotechnology, which we're sourcing, but we're currently working on mixing our own solution and producing our own solution to be less reliable, to be less reliant on another supplier. However, the inside disinfectant, yes, that we have produced ourselves and it's patented.
How much time does it take to clean per car? Because it seems like it's a labor-intensive model.
It is a labor-intensive model, but it's important for us as well. As I've mentioned, the unskilled labor part plays a major role to us as well. It really depends on the size of the car. So if, for example, we take a BMW X1 or a Mini, which is one of the parts of the Drive Now fleets that we're servicing, the inside-outside cleaning takes about 40 minutes. If my colleague Bolage does it, it takes 38.
Are you more like a clean tech startup, or do you use technology to dispatch the people better, to make like send the cleaners directly to the dirty cars? When I have Marc like in my car to go or drive now is dirty, like how do you do that?
Yeah, it's a combination. So we have two apps that we've developed. Originally, we started in the B2C business, where it would have been exactly like you said, where you park your car and then you order our service via one of these algorithmic apps, and the cleaner will take you there. However, last year when we were at the Web Summit, we've changed our focus to become more of a B2B startup. And it's exactly what you've mentioned. So we are a clean tech. We're looking into clean tech. That is what we're passionate about. But we have a high digital background as well. And that's very disruptive in the auto washing industry as well. Because what is auto washing so far? Somebody sits in the car, takes it to the car wash, takes the car back. Now it's a real-time process. Everything can be followed by the customer, where the car is, what is happening to it, when the wash has been finished. We're taking photos, before and after photos. So it's simple things, but it's very new to the car washing industry. And that we do on a fully digital background to the customer as well.
So now that you're, selling sort of into the B2B model, sort of what's the average fleet size that you're looking at? Like, what is an attractive fleet size that makes this really an economically viable thing for you?
That's a great question, because one of the reasons why we're here at the Web Summit is to find new customers. So for us, any fleet size above about, I can't really tell you the fleet size, it's really the number of washes, because you might want to wash a car every week. So we need about 600 to 800 washes a month. That makes it economically viable for us to start in a new city. At the moment in Berlin, we're doing over 1,400 washes a month.
All right, great. We'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Adriana. Drew, I'm sorry for cutting across you. I saw an opportunity and I took it, and it was the wrong thing to do. All right, we're very nearly there. We're on pitch 7 of 8. And next up is Natalia from SnapCall. Big round of applause for Natalia.
Hello guys, good afternoon. Can you hear me? Yeah. I have a question for you this afternoon. What's the worst call you can make today? That's calling a business. You have to go through voice menus. You have to spend time listening to a background classical music, right? And you need lots of patience. Just think about your options when trying to communicate with a business today. You have long emails, chatbots. You can ask for a callback and just sit and wait for ages, and also you can send some pigeons. Luckily today, that's part of the past, and today I'm going to present you guys the SnapCall button. This is how it works. Imagine the Web Summit had a SnapCall button on their website, and me, Natalia, I'm interested in buying a ticket for the event, but I'm not quite sure, so I need to talk to someone to make the right purchase, because those tickets can be expensive, right? So I click on the call button just once. I don't have to install anything. I don't have to open any tab or type any phone number, and immediately I get connected to the salesperson at the Web Summit. Easy, right? On the other side of the line, the agent from the Web Summit gets the call with all this context. He can see I'm in the tickets page, that I'm interested in the exhibition floor that costs 900 euros. And also, if I was logged as a user, he could see all my user details. And me, as Natalia, I get to rate the call at the end of that. It seems like a pretty easy solution, right? But it's not so easy to develop. Voice is a very challenging space. And today, we're in the mission to make all of these digital much more human. For that, we are the only solution in the market that offers a live call solution with context. And also, we do not rely on any third-party provider, which means all our technology is developed in-house and allows us to control effectively the quality of the calls and also offer a highly customizable and scalable solution. Finally, our plans, the setup is just 5 minutes, and our plans range from free to paid. And some numbers here. Up to this day, we have enabled 200,000 calls, all with context, all digital. We serve large traffic websites and also small ones, and we have increased their conversions up to 30%. And out of the blue, we created for them a new acquisition channel. That's not bad, right? Finally, our team. We're passionate, we're driven, and also we have a strong technical background in the voice industry. We're located in Station F, the largest startup campus in the world in Paris. And recently, good news is that we secured €1 million funding. And just to finish, I have a last question. What's the best call you can make today? That's calling a loved one, and luckily today, some businesses, thanks to SnapCall. Thank you so much. So questions?
Customer acquisition. So how are you going about finding, and who is your typical customer? Is it a small to medium-sized business, small to medium-sized enterprise? If you could walk us through that, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. We have identified two kind of customers that are companies that have a high volume calls. For example, e-commerces and also companies that work with airline, those kind of tickets. Our biggest client is a train ticket, the trail road company from France. So daily they have a lot of calls. So those are the big guys. And also, we also have mid-sized customers that typically they do not have voice or the first channel because it's a very complicated thing to manage. So right now we're acquiring those. Our revenue, maybe I can tell you about that. We have a monthly recurring revenue of 30,000 euros per month. And we have big and small clients. And lately we're trying to roll out a free solution for companies that have a low volume of calls. For example, e-commerce sites that have a store in Shopify, for example, they just download their module and instantly they can start receiving calls from their website. It's pretty easy.
So you have all your own infrastructure, and your own cloud and all that. So your cost is competitive with the much larger players in this space?
That's an interesting question because those are our competitors, but also lately they can be our partners. I'll explain that a bit more. So for example, a PBX company that offers a phone system. We can connect with those. We cut the frustrating part for the customer, that is the voice menu transfers. We integrate with them, and the customer gets right away to the agent. They have like a escalate of customers, of agents that are available to take the call. We integrate with them, so right now they can be partners. And also to cloud call systems that are really trendy at the moment, we can also connect with them. So it's just up to a final customer what they want. They want to integrate those solutions or they want to replace it. But we are really flexible. That's why we develop all in-house.
I thought there's like a trend to go away from voice, to have it more with chatbots, because to have call centers operating, it's kind of costly. And with your solutions, suddenly like all those people are immediately calling, because who wants to use a chatbot? Is there really a demand for increasing calls?
Yeah, that's also a very interesting question. I will answer it in two parts. The first part, chatbots. So we do not compete with chatbots. We think it's a digital experience. We see this as a digital experience. So it's up to you if you want to chat and you want to write like a long paragraph, and if you can actually get your issues solved.
I don't want to chat, but it's like it's
exactly.
cheaper.
Yeah, but then companies enable those chat because they cannot handle the volume of calls. And that's where it gets smart. When you have the website, you can put the button wherever you want. So you don't want to put it in the home site. You just want to put it at the end of your at the end of the journey, where the person is really going to buy. They have like €5 in their shopping cart. So for those, you put the button. And if you're not available, simply the button doesn't show up. So it's something flexible that can allow you to call or not, and the companies can manage that.
Natalia, I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Thank
Maybe you can chat with Felix after and finish off the second part of that question. But we are super tight on time, and I'm getting in trouble all the time backstage. So we need to keep it moving. Big round of applause again for Natalia. All right, last but not least, and I know you've saved your very best round of applause for the last pitcher, because as hard as it is to go first, it's also very hard to go last after all of the pitches. So for the final time in this session, please give a huge round of applause to David from Entry.do.
Hi guys, happy to be here. My name is David, and let me start with a question. Is there anybody here who likes to wait in line? Come on, hands up. Like, please give me 1 hour before my favorite concert. No one, really? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's me personally, I hate to wait in line. It's terrible, ineffective, and this is how we see the problem. It's waiting in lines physically. Now, it's annoying and also a bit bad PR. It's potentially very dangerous. People outside are soft targets. Loss of profits for the organizer, people not spending money on the venue, in the venue, and expensive to solve. Now, our solution brings together ticketing providers. They're already in the market doing good. We just need a ticket code so you can enter the digital line. You choose time slot so you can get in comfortably, and we guarantee that in the time slot there will be just the right amount of people so you can get it comfortably and enjoy. We have also quickly scalable user base thanks to the ticketing providers, and our unique selling proposition is that the clients, the organizers, doesn't need to change a thing. We adapt to them. As you can see, stadiums, arenas, large conference centers, festivals, sport clubs, often lines at the entrance and looking for an improvement. Now, target user is probably, guys like you and me, like this gentleman there fiddling with his phone. Yes, and we are not willing to wait, and we are ready to pay a reasonable fee so we can get in comfortably. Now, the market opportunity is media entertainment is a large market, but let's consider addressable. Festivals, concerts, and sporting events. You can easily imagine that it's hundreds of million people every year. Our revenue model, as you can see in the picture, is avoid waiting in line. You can pay for the premium. Fees starts at 5% from the ticket price, and we use dynamic or surge pricing for those who left the problem at the last minute. We expected average revenue per user at $7. And as you can see, basic example, let's consider 10 venues with 500,000 visitors, 5% for those who use the premium, and $7 average per user. Now, the team, it's me, I'm experienced in events, and as a CEO, I have my colleagues here who is really good in a back-end development. He worked for the clients as BMW, Coca-Cola, or the biggest football club in Czech Republic, Sparta. Martin Usel, also here, specialist in APA, 7 years as a senior, and Jan Klečka, who is support and operative. So guys, that's everything from my side. I'm open to your questions. Happy to be here.
Why can't someone like Eventbrite just do exactly the same?
Oh, well, they can, of course. It's because they are sometimes too big, and the service has to be, let's say, developed. So absolutely it can be done.
Do you already have venue partners signed up, and what's the revenue sharing for the venue partners?
We are in the middle of the process here. It's really early stage, this product. We are in touch with the O2 Arena in Prague, which is the largest one in Czech Republic. And we are considering the sharing revenues around 30%.
So I kind of understand the dynamic pricing, but the entrance time. I'd imagine at most events, most people want to enter the building at the same time, which results in the line in the first place. Do you have mechanisms you built around that to incentivize people to come early or enter late, things like that?
Yeah, well, it's first the notifications that are coming to you, and you are notified when is the time slot, when is the best time for you to come. You see how dynamic is the availability, so you can choose. And if you are there and there is a queue, you don't need to wait physically. So you choose the slot because you will be waiting anyway, but you can wait everywhere you want, in the park, grab a beer, whatever you like.
Is this similar to in amusement parks, like a Disneyland, where you can buy a premium pass and just go in?
Basically, yes. It's very similar also to the airlines, airports, speedway, etc. Same idea, just used on a large events. And for those, like, for instance, Ticketmaster, back to your question, they are too big to develop something like that. What we can just use the tickets, they are already sold. And we can basically take any ticketing provider to offer this globally.
Just going back to Andrew's question, like, if a concert starts at 8, I want to be there like 7:45. but I presume everyone wants to be there 7:45. So you just increase the price until it's only me who's willing to pay, say, $30 to get in at that time, or how does it work? Because if I pay a premium and then I still have to wait in line, that's kind of wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Imagine that we launched the premium 24 hours before the event, and it starts on a really low price. So if you are waiting, you want to get in, you choose the let's say, your time for a reasonable price. Then it scales up, and when there is the biggest line, you pay for the extra. But the time slot has always the right amount of people. So you cannot get in, and you cannot wait in line, because the time slot, for instance, has 20 people, and it will be just very comfortable.
And you guarantee that, otherwise I get my money back.
Absolutely, absolutely. Or you can always wait in a normal line as you are used to. So we just use, let's say, the premium. For instance, the O2 Arena in Prague, 30 gates. We use 15% of those gates for the premium. We also use the VIP entrance, and we just digitalize so you can get in through those gates and not to wait as everybody else.
Okay, David, we leave it there. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Big round of applause for David once again. So that just about concludes this particular pitch group session. While the judges are totting scores, and indeed there's some magic happening here at the side of the stage in terms of technology and adding up the scores, what I want to do is invite all of the 8 startups back up on stage so you guys can get a good look at them and judge them all from your seats there. So guys, do you want to come back up? Let's give them a big round of applause as they're doing that. Woo! All right. Judges, I do have one more question for you. So we asked you to judge each of the pitches here today in terms of team, financials, potential to disrupt, and a couple of other things. What would you say is the most important of those for you, if any?
I don't know if I'll answer the question directly, but I will just say the most important thing to me in general is a clear understanding of the problem you're solving, how large that problem is, and also the category of problem. I think some problems we solve to make things that exist easier, and then there's some problems that we solve to sort of create the opportunity for expansion of ideas and the ability of individuals to execute on things. So being able to sort of understand how big that problem really is, and is the solution you're designing addressing those requirements, and speaking through that very quickly, very early, is one of the most fundamental things for me.
All right, awesome. Ricky, would it be the same for you?
Yeah, yes, and also to articulate, so I see some startups present what the team is, why you're the right team to do it, and not all of them. So if you can put it maybe within 10 or 15 seconds in a pitch of why you're the right team to do it, and what's your ask, what's how much you're raising, or what partnership you're looking for, what's going to help you go to the next step.
It's really the problem that you are solving and showing that the problem is big and that the problem is scalable, and that with your solution you can actually overcome whatever problem you have identified.
Yeah, totally agree. I personally used to work at Techstars, and we always judge teams on the basis of team, product, market, team. Because there was a sense that even if the product or the market didn't work out, that the team, your collection of skills, and as individuals, you guys would probably do something cool, and we wanted to be part of that. So, startups, have you guys all had a good time today? Could we give a hands up for who's raising right now? Is anybody raising around right now? Okay. That's pretty much. I guess everyone's always raising, right? Okay, you're always looking for money. And who's raising kind of less than €1 million or dollars? Everyone raising over that? Okay. And right on cue, here's my winner. Okay. Go. Awesome. Okay, let's give one huge round of applause for our judges again. We have Felix, Ricky, and Drew. And then one final round of applause for our awesome 8 pitchers as well today. It's not an easy thing to be up here in front of potentially 70,000 people, and you guys all did a great job as well. Particularly, those were some tough questions from our judges as well. I was getting nervous behind the stage. Okay, you ready to hear the winner? Okay, the winner of this particular group session going on to the semi-finals tomorrow is SnapCall. Woohoo! Well done, Natalia. Great job. All right. Guys, that about concludes it for this particular round. This stage is going to take a break for lunch, but we'll be back here at 2:15. So I hope you enjoy the rest of Web Summit. It's been awesome being with you for the last hour, and see you soon. Thanks, everyone.